Every man has a hidden switch inside him, and it only turns on when you whisper the one sentence his unconscious has been starving to hear. Most women think a man remembers the body, but the truth is far deeper. During intimacy, the part of him you touch most is not his skin, it is his unconscious. Did you know his mind becomes like an emotional camera capturing every breath and every shift in your presence? It's not because he is judging you, but because he is trying to feel how safe, wanted, and chosen he is in that moment. What most women never realize is this: a single whisper can hit his spirit harder than anything physical. Intimacy turns into a mirror, revealing whether he is desired or simply performing. Today, we're uncovering the exact psychological triggers and the rare words that imprint themselves into his memory long after the moment ends. If this speaks to you, take a second to like, share, and subscribe. Now, let us walk into the hidden layer beneath the physical, the place Carl Jung believed the real self appears. For your words stop being sound and start becoming imprint one. When you let him enter you, let him witness you. I don't just let you inside me, I let you witness me. There is a quiet, almost trembling power in that sentence, the kind that settles into the air and changes the feeling of the room. It moves with a slow and intentional rhythm, the repetition of "I let you," creating a gentle but unmistakable boundary. The contrast between inside and witness lifts intimacy out of the physical world and places it into the psychological one. This is not a line about sex, it is a declaration of feminine sovereignty. The moment a woman stops offering access and begins offering awareness, at its heart, this sentence reveals a woman's right to choose. In love, a woman may open her body for many reasons, such as desire, curiosity, loneliness, or habit. But she only opens her energy when she feels safe enough to be seen, and that distinction is everything. Letting him inside speaks to the physical act. Letting him witness you speaks to emotional presence. It is the shift from physical permission to spiritual revelation. And in psychology, this marks the difference between performative intimacy and true connection. In real relationships, this truth becomes even clearer. Many women have shared their bodies while keeping their hearts hidden, hoping that physical closeness would naturally grow into emotional closeness. But connection is not born from how much you give. It is born from how consciously you choose. A woman who knows her worth does not rush into closeness. She pauses, she breathes, she decides. And in that decision, she reclaims the part of herself that past lovers or past wounds may have blurred. When she allows a man to witness her, she's not giving herself away. She is honoring herself first and then choosing him from a place of inner clarity, and that is why this line carries such depth. It expresses a truth that mature love always returns to. Intimacy begins where performance ends and presence begins. Now let us move to the next insight and step deeper into the psychology inside these hidden moments. 2. When he is inside you, you show him who he really is. And from that moment of letting yourself be witnessed, something deeper begins to unfold as naturally as breath. It becomes the quiet recognition that when he enters your body, you hold a mirror he cannot hide from. This is where the next truth rises with a soft but commanding clarity. How you move inside me tells me who you are. The sentence carries a slow, intentional rhythm. The phrase, "how you move," shifts focus from action to presence, while inside me brings the moment into the realm where instinct speaks louder than performance. And the final part, "tells me who you are," turns a physical act into a revelation of identity. In psychological terms, intimacy becomes a silent confession. A man can pretend through words. He can hide behind confidence, humor, or charm. But inside your body, the unconscious leads. His rhythm exposes his comfort or his fear. His breath reveals whether he is connected or distracted. His stillness or urgency shows whether he is present with you or wrestling with himself. In this moment, he cannot perform. The truth rises on its own. That is why this line pierces so deeply. You are not judging him. You are awakening him to himself. In real relationships, every woman has felt the difference. There is the man who touches you while his mind is far away. And there is the man who touches you as if the world has narrowed to the space between your breaths. The first leaves emptiness. The second leaves recognition. When you speak this line, you invite him into consciousness. You remind him that intimacy is not something he does to you, but something he reveals about himself. This is where transformation begins. A man does not evolve because he is corrected. He evolves because he is truly seen. And in the next insight, we step even deeper into the part of him that awakens when he feels his masculine essence reflected back to him. Share your thoughts in the comments if you feel the truth of this. And stay with me because what comes next will touch the oldest part of his soul. 3. Calling out the masculine archetype within him, and from that moment where he sees himself reflected in your body, something even more ancient begins to stir, almost like a door opening deeper inside him. It is the moment when intimacy stops being a mirror and becomes a summons. This is where the next truth rises with a quiet, steady gravity. I feel safe when you're in me, like I belong here. The sentence moves gently, yet carries a depth that touches the oldest layers of the masculine psyche. The phrase, I feel safe, is disarming in its softness, while when you're in me ties emotional trust to physical presence. But the final part, like I belong here, does something few women ever do. It calls out the masculine archetype, not through flattery, but through recognition. In psychology, this is where a man stops responding as an individual and starts responding as an archetype. Every man, no matter how modern or guarded, carries within him an inner protector, an inner king, an inner leader. These archetypes rarely awaken through praise of his skills. They awaken when a woman reflects his essence. When you say you feel safe with him, you're not complimenting what he does, but acknowledging who he is. Safety is not performance, it is presence. And for a man, presence is identity. In real relationships, this difference changes everything. A man who hears that you feel good may feel flattered, but a man who hears that you feel safe enters an entirely different emotional landscape. Safety activates responsibility, devotion, groundedness. It makes him aware of the impact he has on you, not through pressure, but through purpose. And when you add the phrase, like I belong here, you speak to the deepest longing of the masculine to be a place of anchoring, a place where someone chooses to stay. Men do not crave worship. They crave recognition of their inner strength, the part of them that wants to protect without being asked to guide, without dominating, to create safety, without losing softness. This sentence gives him that recognition. It does not make him feel big through comparison, but through clarity. He feels seen, not for what he tries to be, but for what he already carries within him. And this is where the dynamic subtly shifts. The moment he feels his archetype awakened, he stops moving for desire and begins moving for meaning, and from here we step into an even more intimate truth, the one hidden inside the spaces between silence and breath. Let us continue. 4. Speaking slowly to touch the emotional nerves inside him. And from the moment his masculine archetype stirs beneath your recognition, something softer begins to bloom in the space between your bodies. The energy shifts from awakening to deepening, from identity to emotion, from who he is to how he feels in your presence. This is where the next truth enters, with the quiet force of a warm breath against the skin. It's not your body that overwhelms me, it's your presence. The line does not rush. It arrives slowly, like a candle being lit in a dark room, its flame small but steady. And that slowness is the key, because when a woman speaks slowly, she's not delivering information, she is delivering sensation. Her words are no longer sounds. They become energy. Psychologically, a man's nervous system responds differently to slow speech. Fast words are processed by the mind, filtered through logic, expectation, and defense. Slow words slip past all of that. They sink straight into the limbic system, the place where meaning, attachment, and emotional memory are formed. When you speak slowly during intimacy, you are not just communicating, you're regulating his emotional state, grounding him, pulling him out of performance and into awareness. And the line itself carries a profound message. By telling him that it is not his body but his presence that overwhelms you, you remove pressure and give purpose. You redirect his focus from technique to connection. You tell him that who he is matters more than what he does, and for a man, that truth strikes deeper than desire ever could. In real relationships, women often see how powerfully men respond to slowness. A pause, a breath, a single sentence allowed to bloom rather than spill. In those moments he becomes more attentive without being urged, more grounded without being instructed. His movements soften, his eyes return to yours. He listens with his whole body, not because he has to, but because your presence invites him in. Slow words tell him that he is safe to feel and safe to be felt. This is why slowness carries weight. It transforms sound into intimacy, language into touch, and presence into something he cannot forget. And as he leans further into that emotional quiet, drawn by the gravity of your stillness, a deeper truth begins to rise, the one hidden beneath his confidence and rhythm. Tell me what this awakens in you in the comments. Because every truth spoken creates a space for someone else to breathe. Do not go yet, because the next insight opens a door into the part of him he guards more fiercely than his pride. 5. Touching the masculine shadow without exposing it. And from the warmth of presence, something even more fragile begins to rise. As if the silence between your breaths starts revealing a truth he has tried to outrun his entire life. It is the moment when desire softens and vulnerability appears, not through weakness, but through the quiet tremor of a man letting his guard slip for just one heartbeat. This is where the next truth emerges, gentle yet piercing. You don't have to prove anything. You already are enough. The sentence moves with a softness that disarms him. Its power comes from its simplicity. No decoration, no pressure, no demand. Just a calm recognition that cuts straight through the armor he has been taught to wear. In psychology, men carry a shadow made of unspoken fear. The fear of failing, the fear of disappointing, the fear of not measuring up. Even the most confident man, the one who laughs loudest or moves with certainty, holds somewhere inside him a quiet echo that whispers, "Am I enough?" It is a wound shaped by expectations, by competition, by years of being told to achieve, provide, perform, and during intimacy this shadow rises subtly, hidden beneath his rhythm, beneath the way he holds you or glances at you as if searching for reassurance he cannot ask for. When you say you don't have to prove anything, you do something extraordinary. You interrupt the script, you soften the tension he didn't even realize he was carrying. You step into the shadow without pointing at it, without demanding confession, without turning the moment into therapy. And when you add, "You already are enough," you give him something the world rarely gives men. Unconditional acceptance without conditions, without comparison, without scoreboard. You do not inflate him, you free him. In real relationships, women often feel the heaviness men carry, but struggle to soothe it, because men rarely give words to their wounds. Yet, the body always reveals it. The way he tries to please you. The way he holds his breath waiting for your reaction. The way he moves as if trying to earn a place he already has. This one sentence becomes a bomb on that silent wound. It does not expose the shadow, it gently warms it until it loosens. And in that loosening, a man becomes emotionally anchored to the woman who gave him this kind of safety. Not because she feeds his ego, but because she meets his humanity. And as he melts into that truth, a new doorway opens between you, one that leads into the rarest form of intimacy, where passion becomes recognition and silence becomes trust. Stay with me because the next truth reveals how your voice can carve itself into his memory in a way no touch ever could. 6. Saying what other women never dare to say. And from the moment his shadow softens under your acceptance, the connection between you shifts again, almost as if the room itself exhales with you. What was once physical becomes emotional, and what was emotional begins to deepen into something far more rare. This is where the next truth rises like a quiet flame. This isn't just sex to me. This is the part where I remember who you are. The line does not seduce. It reveals. It lifts him out of instinct and into awareness with a single breath. The structure of the sentence creates a gentle but powerful contrast. This isn't just sex breaks the familiar script of performance. This is the part where I remember who you are turns the moment into a recognition of identity, not action. Suddenly, the focus is no longer on what he is doing. It is on who he becomes when he is close to you. In psychology, this is the doorway into a deeper dimension of intimacy, one that many men never experience because few women ever speak to their inner world. Men are taught that sex is a place for release, for achievement, for proving something. They are almost never taught that sex can be a place of remembrance, a return to their truest self. When you speak this line, you gently lift him out of the space of instinct and place him into the space of meaning. You are telling him that his presence carries depth, that his essence matters more than his performance, that there is something in him worth seeing beyond the surface. In real relationships, words like these create an imprint he will not forget. Every man has been desired for his body. Very few have been seen for his soul, and when a woman reflects his deeper nature at the very moment he is most unguarded, something inside him shifts. His attention sharpens, his breath settles, his movements take on intention rather than urgency. He is no longer trying to impress you. He's trying to meet you because he understands, even if he cannot explain it, that you are speaking to the part of him he rarely acknowledges. There's a quiet moment at the end of every deep experience, where the mind softens and the heart finally understands what it has been feeling all along. In intimacy, it is never the movement, the rhythm, or the intensity that stays with us. It is the meaning we create in the space between two breaths. When a woman speaks to a man's unconscious in his most unguarded moment, she is not trying to bind him, she's awakening him. And that awakening becomes a memory he carries not in his mind, but in the quietest part of his soul. Perhaps that is the deeper lesson of all of this. Love becomes powerful, not when we perform for each other, but when we meet each other without masks, when presence becomes the language and the body becomes the doorway to truth. Intimacy is not the fire. It is the light that remains after the fire settles. As you leave this moment, hold this thought gently. The heart remembers what the body cannot explain. Like the video, share it with someone who needs it. And thank you for being here in this space of honesty and depth.